Thanks. I go by Becca. I am the human resource manager for Galindo and Boyd. We are a commercial construction specialty subcontractor, specializing in masonry, wall systems, stucco, plaster, the like. We have currently around 300 employees, and that's kind of us in a nutshell. We are located, our main office is Mesquite, Texas, which is where I office out of. And we have 3 other offices: Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, and Houston, Texas. We are just going into our 11th year. We celebrated 10 years last year with a nice big celebration. And we've had WorkMax now for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years this May, coming May. It has been, for the most part, pretty amazing. It has had its frustrations, but every time we've had an issue, it's a quick phone call, a couple of emails, and our problems are fixed. The support that we get from WorkMax, the flexibility, the way we've grown with WorkMax, the way WorkMax has grown with us, is the main reason why we're still utilizing WorkMax, honestly. The dedication that we have from the team, the support that we have from the team at WorkMax is really, really key. Understanding what our needs are and what the needs of in our industry are, and how the app has adapted has made it a great investment. The biggest thing we use it for is our time capture, obviously. We do also use it for asset management and reporting. We utilize forms a lot. The biggest plus with time capture is the facial recognition and the GPS tracking. Not tracking, but the geo fence is a big thing. That really helps us key in, keeps us from getting those ghost employee clock-ins, and ensuring that our people are on the right spots. Very rarely do we accept a geofence because it's not in the right spot. We do have miscellaneous jobs, so that would flag, but for the most point, that's what we use it for. Our forms have really, really amped up lately with everything going paperless. It's easier to get that information. We can get it in real time. One of the 2 forms that we created and we use a lot are accident injury reporting. And along with that, if we have a decline because of that. So that really helps us with, on my side of the world, when it comes to reporting for our OSHA 300 logs and stuff like that, to have the backup documentation. And also gives us kind of an immediate oversight of what's going on the job sites. The forms having the ability to capture picture and video or even voice record is really cool too, because again, with that accident injury, I can get immediate reports within 5 minutes, 10 minutes of that report being completed. So it's really, really good. On the back end of stuff, field may not like it so much, but overall they understand it, and the more we utilize it and the more they see the benefits of it, the more they're apt to use it, and that's really cool. We still have it. The fear of technology, the use of technology, the intimidation that technology brings is something that we still struggle with because we are in construction, and there is kind of a stigma on some of these guys, these blue collar workers, that they have the craft that they do. They're extremely talented, and a lot of them are bilingual. They're extremely intelligent. But you put an iPad in their hand and they feel like they're 5 years old and they don't know what to do with it. They're like, this is Greek. I don't understand what I'm looking at. So being able to walk through the app itself is very user-friendly. It is bilingual, so we can switch it from English to Spanish, which Spanish is the primary language of most of my employees. So being able to kind of walk them through that, again, the technology and the training that we received in the beginning, and then as things adapt, the training that we get from WorkMax helps us train our field guys and helps us alleviate that kind of stigma that they have, or that fear they have of using the application. So, I mean, the app makes it easy to train on, makes it easy and comfortable for them to use. And it's pretty the layout, the format of it makes it very user friendly and does not seem very daunting when you're in the middle of trying to fill something out. So yeah. The auto syncing that you have right now going on in the background, that is the biggest fun feature that we have, because my admins every Monday or every morning, they're calling our foremen, our supervisors. I need you to sync your iPad, I need to sync your time, I need to sync your forms, you need to do this. So when the auto sync function has happened, as long as they have good connection and they've logged into it once, it's running in the background. Makes our job in the office a lot smoother. And we can see kind of in real time when they check in, which is really cool. Our daily forms and our weekly toolbox topics, they are all on WorkMax. So I no longer am chasing superintendents for paper. It's coming across emails every day. So that is a good thing. And it is really helpful, especially in times where we've had an accident or injury on the job site. It's easy to research and pull up the toolbox topics for that job site, or see who was clocked in that day and verify that information. Without giving you a specific story, because I don't know, but I do know that part of the forms and having the forms available, we're able to create change orders in the field in real time. And that has helped us. So without a specific story, I can tell you on several occasions, having that ability to open up the app, fill out a change order, submit a work order with the GC signature and their typed name is a good thing to have. So we can bill it correctly. We're able to bill it correctly, and they can't come back and go, we didn't approve that. Well, yes, you did. We have it right here because it is on the app, and they're able to pull it back up from the app to show them in real time, and they, set up the subscription, and it's in the PM's email as well. Real-time capture of when the guys clock in, when our crews clock in, and seeing where they're at is really crucial when we need to do a quick head count. Construction runs at the speed of business, at the speed of light sometimes it feels like, and being able to log into the system on my desktop, check out a job site, see how many guys I have on that job site is a really cool tool. There's been many times where we need to pull reports, or we're trying to pull things together to do a head count to see if we need to set up a new hire spree or whatever the case may be. So knowing how many people we have, where they are located, or maybe we need to pull guys off one job site, move to the next. That's extremely helpful. Being that it's a cloud-based program, able to take my laptop or even my phone, if I'm in the field or if I'm traveling, I can pull over, I can get it out, and I can see basically my entire workforce from any place in the US is pretty cool. It is pretty nice to see working with the Insight module to kind of see where things are in real time as well is pretty neat. So currently our integrations are the systems that we have that we will be integrating with is Acumatica and Criteria. At this point, I don't think we are integrated with anybody, but specifically, one of the big selling points in joining with Acumatica and Criterion is the fact that there are ADI feeds for WorkMax. So we are able to set that up and work with WorkMax along with our ERP and our payroll system to get the information we need, again, at the speed of business. And there's not a lot of lag time. There's not a lot of back footwork that we have to do. So we're gaining back more time in our day because we're not having to export and import data or manually enter data or take information and enter it 4 different places. It's going to be the ability for these systems to talk to each other, to integrate with each other, a couple of clicks of a button. That efficiency is going to, again, gives us that ROI that we all want when we make an investment like this. When it comes to replacing old systems and old habits, WorkMax from the beginning when we purchased the program and we implemented it, replaced all of that, from paper tracking to Excel spreadsheets to multiple phone calls throughout the day and the week. WorkMax took that place over. Again, it really created a lot of time in my side of the business, as well as the superintendent and ops managers side of the business, just being able to not have to track down timesheets to make sure that people are clocked in where they need to be clocked in, as well as reporting daily as they need to, giving us daily reports, production reports, inspection reports on equipment. These things are done in real time, same day. We're not having to follow up and track because we get an email, and it's nicely worded so I know what I'm getting every day. It's easier to track, it's easier to maintain, and again, saves so much time, makes us way more efficient. The WorkMax support team from the beginning has always been stellar. We had an amazing person who unfortunately is no longer with WorkMax. But for the most part, since then, the WorkMax support team has always been very high standard, has always met our high standard. And I have a pretty high standard when it comes to support, because usually we are a small overhead company. We have a large field staff. So being able to depend on a support team that's ready to jump in and help with a quick phone call. I'm not having to submit a ticket, wait for a reply, send an email and it's a day or two before you get back to me. It's if I submit a ticket, I've got a call within an hour. If I pick up the phone, I'm talking to somebody. Even if I have to leave a message, it's within 30, 45 minutes, I'm getting a call back. So the support team runs at the speed of our business. And that's very key when something goes wrong. And we are the kind of client, if I'm calling for help, it's because we have exhausted every other kind of trick and trade that we've been taught from the WorkMax support. Hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Have you done this? And we'll run through all of that before we pick up the phone. And it's nice to know that when we call support, when Galindo and Boyd call support, they kind of already know, hey, they've probably already done these 5 steps. When Galindo and Boyd was looking at WorkMax and they purchased it, what they were looking to solve was everything we did prior to WorkMax was on paper. We had a weekly form that the foreman filled out and turned in weekly. These things weren't done daily. They were done Friday or Monday morning and sent in to us. So how much of that was accurate? Were you clocking guys in that weren't there? Did you miss people that were there? There was no way for us to know. So the biggest problem that we were trying to solve was the real-time clocking in and out in the field. Even 5 years ago, that was a very newish technology for a small company to invest in. WorkMax gave us a solution that didn't break the bank. It was very affordable. Outside of the initial investment that we had to make with our iPads, honestly, it was affordable, and it solved that problem immediately, which was we had a geofence. We were able to track them in real time, not really real time at that point, but at least within 24 hours because of the sync, where they were clocked in at, where they clocked in the right location, how many people were on site. And a guy would know if he didn't clock him in because he didn't punch in on the iPad. So that solved that problem immediately. Was ghost employees, missing time, and then we had times where foreman forgot to turn in the payroll for the whole week. So I'd have 4 or 5 guys that didn't get checks that week because it didn't get turned in. And there was no way for us to know. In the way we would clock or make sure, we'd have to call all the foremen on Friday. Hey, did you guys work this week? Hey, did you turn in your time? If they don't answer, we're just kind of left wondering. So, I would tell a company who is still on paper and still working through those spreadsheets, you really need to take the time and do the math. When I say I pretty much gained a whole employee with WorkMax, I did. And it saved so much time. we gained, I literally gained 3 days back when we first implemented it. Well, when we implemented it across all divisions, because this was a slow implementation, we started in one division and we went across the rest of them. But once we were fully implemented and everything was on board and rolling, I gained back 3 days of my work week that I could now dedicate to more other things, obviously fill it in. But the efficiency and again, the return on investment that you get is almost instant. There's no long-term waiting. Hey, it's just one of those things. It's a big upfront cost, and then it takes a while to get that back. You're going to get that back within the first month or two that you have WorkMax. Take the time, do the math. It'll be worth it, I promise. One of the major factors in us purchasing WorkMax was the fact that we knew, the bosses knew, there was a lot of jobs coming and we were fixing to hit a really big growth spurt. Also in the works, unbeknownst to the rest of us, they were also in negotiations with acquiring and buying a new company. Shortly after I was hired and after we implemented WorkMax, we acquired a lath plaster company in San Antonio, which then became our San Antonio office. So having WorkMax in place and being able to go through that transition and having WorkMax there, again, it alleviated those ghost employees. It alleviated the paper trail that we had with payroll, with those weekly timesheets, and then the weekly spreadsheet, and then all of the verifying steps that we had to go with that paper documentation went out the window the moment we put those iPads in place and gave them the app and walked them through that and got through the training. And within 2 or 3 weeks, you didn't see the late starts anymore, and you were able to find that and make that more efficient. And when we started to grow, I didn't have to worry that I was going to miss new people, new employees, because once they came in, it became part of our onboarding process. You come in, you fill out your application, you get accepted, you accept the position, you take their picture, we get them in WorkMax. So the moment they get to the job, they clock in and they're good to go. So that's pretty awesome. And being able to grow, even with the fact that this is an app, if we had to hire in the field, I can implement it. I can add them to the field, which is even better. So that's really cool. And kind of with the growth, when we needed a need, the app didn't fit. It was able to call WorkMax and goes, hey, how can we do this? How can we help? How can we fix this app to make it work for us? And it was kind of cool to see, hey, we weren't the only ones asking for a specific thing or something was already in works. So again, the intuitiveness behind the team that WorkMax has in their IT part, in their development department, is really kind of interesting. And it's really exciting to know that we have a product that's growing with our industry. That's actually geared for our industry. So being able that we see a massive growth, we know that this app can go with us, that we're not having to, have something that was mainly built for a smaller company, and now we're going to a mid-sized to large company, and we're going to have to switch again. No, this app has grown with us, at our height of over 600 employees. And now that we're back down to a mid number in the mid 300s, it works the same, whether you have 5 employees or 700 employees. It's the usability is there. The efficiency is there. Definitely within our first year, that ROI was almost 5,000%, with the startup cost being right around $21,000, which again can be daunting, but that's a year subscription. It came with the training. And again, WorkMax was very hands-on with our training in the beginning, very, very helpful, very willing to make sure that we understood the product, we understood the application, and we understood how to train that application to our field staff and our office staff even. We saw savings in that first year with our overtime, over $800,000, because we were able to track it better, again, in real time. So it's really cool to see that we've been able to pull that information out of ConnectMax, even WorkMax itself, to see where our time is midweek and make those adjustments before the end of the week, before that end of week payroll runs around, and all of a sudden we have 65 hours on a job where we should only have 42 hours. So that really helped out a lot. Again, on our regular hours, even with on a job that we should be probably only working 30 or 40 hours a week at, we were able to see some return on that, probably around $250,000. So it's really neat to see. And then just again, in that real-time allocation with back-end stuff and that we do is probably around $23,000. So again, it was over $1 million in savings in that first year. As far as bidding more work and how WorkMax has helped with that, Insight has been a big insight when it comes to watching our PMs who have actually used this and actually track it and have utilized Insight. Gives them a better idea of how to build a budget. And then it kind of trickles back down to that estimating department to see, hey, look, we probably need to beef this number up or take this number down. So it has been specific numbers I don't have, but it does help them a lot when it comes to how they're going to bid future projects, how they kind of retool their estimating. That is job site specific. When it comes to safety in using WorkMax, it is very job site specific. There are some job sites that we do that require daily inspections of our materials. We do it naturally. It is part of our process, but they want it documented in a certain form or format, and we're able to provide that with WorkMax in real time versus them having to, again, sit down with a sheet of paper and a pen on a job site, which is hectic and crazy. It's a lot cleaner, a lot easier to use on iPad, and being able to submit that and get an email and then forward that immediately versus having to take a picture of a document that might be really smudged. When it comes down to the secret to success and being successful at Galindo and Boyd is our ownership takes pride in what we do. Our ownership invests in the company and invests in its people. They stand behind us. They stand behind the products that we use, such as WorkMax, all the way down to the products that we're putting up in the field. There is quality control. It says it on our logo. Safety, quality, results. We're safe first. If you're safe, you're going to produce a quality product. Quality product and being safe, you get the best results. So that goes in every aspect of working at Galindo and Boyd and being a part of our team. One thing I can tell you that WorkMax does to help us save with time and energy and everything is knowing that at any point, I can pull our reports from the moment we started using that app. So being able to even go back a year or 2 years if we need to verify hours on, because there was a complication with the billing or something is being questioned and they're holding our retainage, we can go back and pull this stuff. We often do things, or we have certified payroll for a lot of our projects. So being able to pull that information exactly the way it should be in WorkMax and understanding those job duties and cost codes that we have assigned to those specific things helps us with that documentation and capturing those hours correctly. So when it comes to our ROI, we saw within the first year almost 5,000%. We saved over $1 million, which again, when your implementation is only $21,000, that's a drop in the bucket. And we got that back within the first year. I got back a day and a half to almost 3 days a week. So again, the ROI is so worth that, and you're going to see it pretty much instantaneous.